Daddy, it's me. What did you think when you heard me back on the radio? What did the kids say when they knew it was their long-lost daddy? Oh, remember how we listened to the radio, and I said that's the place to be. And how I got the job as an FM jock the day you married me. It was 2 kids and I was into AM rock, but I just had to run around. It's been 8 years since I left you, babe. Let me tell you about what's gone down. I am the morning DJ at WOLD, playing all the hits for you, wherever you may be. The bright good morning, hello.
Who's heard but never seen? And here's a face that should be heard but never seen. It's your boy Bobby Tamburo on Choppin with Chapin, the world's #1 and probably only Harry Chapin song analysis podcast. How's everybody doing tonight? Are we excited? I will be monitoring the chat to the best of my abilities, but I'm still getting used to this, so bear with me as much as possible. Like Harry Chapin said, all life's a circle, so eventually I'll get good at this, and then I'll get bad at the next technology. That's just how life works. Now, assuming you ended up here because you follow me on Twitter or know of my podcasts, I put out a tweet today to decide which song we would be talking about. My personal choice would have been the opening song, WOLD. It's about radio. It's about love. It's very personal to me. I really enjoy it. But the fans voted, and I can't blame them. It's probably the song I would have chosen if I wasn't familiar with Harry Chapin either, to go through 30,000 pounds of bananas. Now, the song was originally debuted on Harry's album Verities and Balderdash. I've never really known how to pronounce that. It's not really in any of the songs, so I'm not really sure where the title came from. I could have done more research, but this is about the song, not about the artist. Now, I did say the song debuted on this 1974 album, but the version we're going to be going through tonight, and honestly, the version that made the song popular, came off of the Greatest Stories album. It's a live version, and what made this unique is he debuted a lot more of the song than originally made it onto Verities and Balderdash. Before we get too much into the song, I will give you a bit of the backstory, not that you can't really get it from the lyrics, but just to give you an idea. The song comes from a true story that actually occurred, and it's based on a truck accident that occurred in Scranton, Pennsylvania in 1965. Basically, a 33-year-old Eugene Seski was on his way to deliver a load of, you guessed it, bananas to Scranton, Pennsylvania. And along the way, he wasn't from Pennsylvania, he was from New Jersey. He wasn't as familiar with the roads. It was a diesel truck that weighed 21 tons. It was a 35-foot trailer, and he was headed down Route 307 where he lost control. That section of Route 307 is a 2-mile descent straight into the city, and it is a very steep curve. Now, at the time, trucks under 21,000 pounds were required to stay in low gear. Now, there are no trucks over 21,000 pounds allowed at all, because what happened is, as he lost control, he eventually reached the bottom of the hill going 90 miles per hour. A 21,000 truck going 90 miles per hour, basically a nuclear bomb coming into the city. He sideswiped a bunch of cars close to the bottom of the hill, and then eventually flipped the truck himself and crashed. He was the only person to die because he was thrown from the truck. It was going 90 miles an hour. Probably should have been wearing a seatbelt. You can thank Ralph Nader for that. But he was thrown from the truck. 15 people were injured, but only Seski died, and the road was closed for cleanup. So, as a result of this song, not this song, but the incident that inspired this song, we have a new law that doesn't allow bigger trucks or something. I don't know. It really isn't important to the story. I don't know why I put so many details into it, but you know what? Now you know some history if you ever go to Scranton that you can bore folks with like I just did for approximately 9 minutes. Let's get to the song itself. We are, like I said, listening to the Greatest Stories version, which is, of course, a live album. It's the album I was introduced to Harry Chapin with and is probably his most popular. I like it for its Mitch Miller aspects. As a kid, traveling 12 hours in the car, you get to sing along. I like it because Harry Chapin sucks at singing. Lyrically, beautiful. Artist, the metaphor, the trueness to life, all amazing. His ability to sing is only rivaled by Bob Dylan's. Like, it is not great, so you don't really feel like you're detracting anything by singing along, and I think that's honestly why he encourages folks to do so. So, that's something to bear in mind. Another thing that's kind of fun about this song is it matches the pace of what's happening in the story. So, kind of pay attention to how fast the music is, how fast things are going, all that good stuff. And without further ado, let's get into the song itself. It would probably help if I put the video up.
Okay, now there's only one other last requirement, and that is we'd like to get the L.A. Memorial Choir in on this one.
Okay, the L.A. Memorial Choir. I was able to find zero information on these folks other than the fact that they performed with Harry Chapin for this live album. They are amazing. At a lot of points in this song, he improvs and they just roll with it. There's one point where they even get ahead with him. There's, as Harry puts it, 8,000 munchkins and a troll. There's one guy who can hit some notes that might make you crap yourself, depending on the vibrations and your speaker settings. So be careful. Let's get back to the video.
Are you guys? I guess you're game. You've been game all night. Okay. Now, it's a low part, but it builds up. Last statement is that this song starts out with an absolutely brilliant Chet Atkins guitar lick that it took me about 4 hours to steal, and I wish you'd appreciate it when it comes by.
While I do like that he cites his sources, you see samples used all the time and not actually being cited and all that good stuff. I don't know if that avoids plagiarism laws. Like, I don't know if Glenn can then sue Harry for royalties for the song. I'm not sure of the legality of that. If you're a lawyer, jump in the chat and let me know. If you're unfamiliar with Harry,
It was just after dark when the truck started down the hill that leads into Scranton, Pennsylvania, carrying 30,000 pounds of bananas.
that's Big John of Bananas. What I was going to say is if you're unfamiliar with Harry Chapin and this is your first experience with him, this sounds like a country song, kind of like a old-timey country, something that might have spoken word to it, and it does fit that theme. However, that's not really representative of what Harry is. He's more of a folksy musician, a lot of acoustic guitar, a lot of breadth of instruments, that's for sure, but it's really not that typical country western sound you're hearing. And talk about, with 2 lines of lyrics, just really painting the entire scene of what's going on. The sun had just set. He's got a truck full of 30,000 pounds of bananas, and he's heading down this giant hill into Scranton. You can almost sense the tension in the air. It's like a banana you want to split for your ice cream.
Carrying 30,000 pounds, hit it, Big John.
With it of bananas.
He was a young driver, just out on his second job, and he was carrying the next day's pace to fruit.
Okay, so if there's this route that has this huge hill that's known for its ability to derail drivers and things like that, and it's his second job because he's such a young driver, nobody wanted to give him a heads up. Nobody was like, hey, pay attention to Route 307. Seems like it's already management's fault.
For everyone in that cold Scott city where children play without despair, in backyard slack piles and folks manage to eat each day just about 30
30,000 pounds of bananas.
Okay, so the first thing I want to address in that part is the fact that children play without despair, and I don't know why that is. I've been to Scranton. It is not a fun city. No one there seems to have any hope in their life. Maybe it has to do with the lack of bananas. Also, 30,000 pounds of bananas a day seems ridiculous. If this accident happened in... When did the accident happen? 1965. Let's check the population of Scranton. $434,000 people. So there were 30,000 bananas. How much does a banana weigh? I guess we could probably play some of the song while we do this.
Yes, there were 30,000 pounds screaming against John of bananas.
Here's the first pickup in speed. So four bananas weigh 472, or so 4 bananas in a pound. If there were 30,000 of them, that's 120,000 pounds of bananas. That's 25% of the population's eating banana a day. I don't know what the consumption was then, but that seems high by today's standards. And this was at a time when people weren't like as healthy as they were today. I think the typical breakfast was probably a cigarette, a shot of whiskey, and a bag of iced peas for your wife's eyes. God, that joke might have landed if I had nailed it, but you know what? It doesn't matter because nobody's watching anyway. Let's continue with the song.
That's the sign that he should have seen, saying shift the low gear, a $50 fine, my friend, my friend.
Okay. If, again, focusing on the theme of if this hill is that deadly, is it really his fault that the sign said shift to low gear or it's a fine, my friend? Yeah, buddy, if you feel like it, shift into gear, be like, well, you'll die. You will see the Reaper and be brought to Judgment Day if you do not shift to a low gear.
I was thinking perhaps about a warm-breathed woman who was waiting at the journey's end. He started down the 2-mile drop, a curving road that wound from the top of the hill.
Distracted by pussy. It's a tale as old as time. My man was thinking about his penis. He was not thinking about the 30,000 pounds of bananas. The only road he was worried about creeping down was the dirt trail, if you catch my drift, when he gets home.
He was pushing on through the shortening miles. They ran down to the depot, just a few more miles to go. Then he'd go home and have her ease that long cramped day away, and the smell of 30,000 pounds. Let's hear you. Of bananas. Yes, the smell of 30,000 pounds. Really loud now.
Okay, so we see the pace starting to pick up again. You're going to really recognize that in a second. Again, he's going... It was a cramped day. I know it was his second job, but he's never trucked in his life. He's not used to hauling bananas from New Jersey to Pennsylvania. And if he's going to Scranton, his home, so his lovely hot-breathed woman... It's hot breath because she has chlamydia. Most people in Scranton have chlamydia. Like, if she was going to ease the long day away, he really caught a break by the end of this story, not having to experience the slow, painful death from whatever STI he contracted from her. See that bass and banjo? He literally just said the song builds up in intensity and excitement. He's not trying to hide anything from you. He wants you to get this one on the nose.
He was picking up speed as the city spread and twinkling lights below him. But he paid no heed as the shivering thoughts of the night's delights went through him. the brakes to slow him down. But the pedal floored, he said, without a sound, he said, Christ.
I'm not a truck driver. I don't pretend to be a truck driver, but I do think you should probably pump the brakes. That said, I've been very hard on our truck driver. Really what Harry's doing here is creating a situation any of us could be in. It's your second day on a new job. You're not super experienced with what's going on or how you're supposed to do it. You're thinking, oh, man, I'm almost done with my second day. I get to see my girl. God, I've missed her. She's going to be so proud of me. I've finally got my GED and my CDL, and I'm being a man. God, yeah, let's go a little faster. We're almost there. Why not? It's a little hill. It's 2 miles. How bad could it be? And then I think most people maybe haven't been as fortunate as I have in life to have hit the brakes once and have them hit the ground. And you do yell out Christ. And it is funny how you say the only man who can save you, because there's not much you can do other than shift to neutral and hope momentum does its thing. You pray to Sir Isaac Newton or God. Those are your two choices. And honestly, I don't think Isaac Newton's listening. There's a chance God is.
It was funny how he had named the only man who could save him now. He was trapped inside a dead hillside, riding on his big hunchback with every one of those yellow green.
Okay, if they're going to eat these 30,000 pounds of bananas and they're yellow green, maybe he did them a favor, because these bananas aren't going to be ripe yet.
I'm telling you, 30,000 pounds. Weave it now. Yes, there were 30,000 pounds, even louder.
Pace again.
He better make the sweeping curve that led into the steepest grade.
If he hadn't made this curve, though, you know how many people would have died? Just a semi-truck at 90 miles an hour hitting a ramp. I'm guessing at 45 degrees, just up in the air, and then all that force equals mass times acceleration. It's going to be a long day in Scranton.
And he missed the thankful passing bus at 90 miles an hour.
Of that full bus, how many people do you think shit themselves?
And he said, God, make it a dream. As he rolled his last ride down. He said, God, make it a dream. As he rolled his last ride down.
How just true to life. How just relatable to something everybody has been through. When you're going through hell and you go, God, this would be amazing if I just woke up and it was a dream. And even though he didn't know he doesn't know it's going to be his last ride, but how many times in life do we go, oh, this is it. God, please get me out of this. Please make it a dream. Or, oh, man, if I just woke up, this would be just so, true to life. Harry, for all you Chapinites out there, you know what I'm talking about.
And this time by 19 neat cars, flipped off 13 telephone poles, hit 2 houses, moved 8 trees, the Blue Cross, 7 people. Was then he lost his head, not to mention an arm or two before he stopped. And he smeared for 400 yards along the hill that leads into Scranton, Pennsylvania. All those 30,000 pounds. You guessed it.
He didn't make it. The 400 yards he smeared is actually very, very close to the true story that I found, which was 396 yards, which I just don't think it would have sounded the exact same. And what a beautiful dichotomy he creates here, right? You've got the tragedy that is death by a careless accident, a preventable death, as we like to say with COVID, a preventable death, versus bananas, the silliness that is smeared bananas. The cartoon image of slipping on a banana, a smeared banana pill. Like, the dichotomy, the simpleness on one end and goofiness with the true tragedy that is death. Oh, man. How are we going to cope with this? How are we going to tie a song together? Let's find out.
Thank God you're here. Now, some of you may think that it would be easy to write a song like this, but it isn't.
I'll be honest, I do think up to this point it wouldn't be the most difficult song in the world to write, lyrically at least. Instrumentally, amazing, beautiful things going on. Lyrically, leaving us wanting a little more. Let's see how he ties this bow.
See, most great works of art have a theme that holds them together. This song doesn't. As a matter of fact, I had a great deal of trouble ending it. As a matter of fact, the first ending was like this. Yes,
Sing along
we
if you get
have
it.
no bananas. We have no bananas today. And if that wasn't enough, yes, we have no bananas. Bananas in Scranton, PA.
Now I know that seems very simplistic, on the nose, almost a stupid way to wrap up a song like that, but it is true to life. You know, a cool city like Scranton, not cool, a C-O-A-L, coal city like Scranton, where no value is placed on human life. It's more about the goods you can produce. The whole town's mourning the bananas, but not the loss of life. There's something to be said for that. Let's continue.
Now, I was very proud of that ending. And with much anticipation, I sang it for the guys in the group and my brothers. And the reaction was best summed up by my brother Tom, who said, "Harry, it sucks."
God, how relatable is the Chapester, huh? Like, I cannot tell you, pretty much any time I bring a creative project of mine to my brother, the first thing he says is, "Bob, that sucks." Let's see if Harry reacts the same way I do.
Well, I was devastated. But I went back to my lonely writer's garret and decided that I would try again and come up with a new ending. Since it was a country and western song, maybe I could write a country ending. Something about motherhood this time, because the song already had a truck.
Damn, shots fired, Chapin. I think today's joke would have had something about screwing your sister, voting for Trump, MAGA. But that's just short, sweet, and on the nose.
Something with weeping steel guitars, wailing fiddles, and an incredible banjo part. And something with harmony sung by, you guessed it, the L.A. Memorial Choir. You'll see your part when it comes by.
Who is this LA Memorial Choir? If you were a member, reach out to me. I would have so many questions. I have so much I would love to learn and pay nothing but gratitude and respect for you. And why can I not find anything about you? 6,000 Munchkins and a Troll.
A woman walks into her room where her child lies sleeping. And when she sees his eyes are closed, she sits there silently weeping. I see gay liberation has hit L.A.
Damn, shots fired again, Chapin. Who is this woman? I like the mystery this ending creates. We've learned all about this truck driver. Is she the one who was going to give him the hand job when he got home? I don't know. Is this his son? Is it her son from her previous marriage? We saw he's only 24. If who knows? Let's see what we can find out.
And though she lives in Scranton, Pennsylvania, 3,000 Munchkins and a Troll.
I doubled it for inflation's sake. And you don't get to double the troll. Nobody would want more trolls. I like this ending. This one is definitely better than the first for me. I like the poetry of the first one, but this one, like, I get. How many times have you put on a smiling face in front of, I don't have kids, but people you have to be strong in front of, whether it's, family, friends, and just get through life even though deep inside you're dead because well, why are you dead inside? Let's find out.
She never, ever eats.
She's crying because of bananas, not because of her husband or anything. That one leaves me wanting a little more. Now, I know I'm not the typical eater, or that's certainly not the prototype for what you should be eating. And if you know me from Compound, you may know my buddy Steve, who eats bananas all the time, despite the doctors telling him not to, begging him not to. I can't tell you the last time I ate a banana. It would not cause me to weep.
Not 1 of 30,000 pounds. Harmony now.
Sounds like the Mormon tubercular choir out there.
Shots fired, Chapin. Damn, what did the Mormons ever do to you? And why do they all have tuberculosis? I don't think that's a genetic disease. Maybe it is. I don't know. I'm not a geneticist. This first half of this really created something that could have gone somewhere, and I feel like it's the second half of this ending that fell apart. Also, the reason why we're listening to this version, I should have told you before, is normally he just ends the song with the normal version. In Greatest Stories, he actually does 3 of the possible endings he wrote for this song. The first one, obviously, being the sing-along, yes, we have no bananas, and this one, the country western. And of the 3, I think he plays them in order. That's how I would have played them too. But this second one really had potential up until the part where she lies there silently weeping because she never eats 1 of 30,000 bananas. We just earlier in the song were told they eat 30,000 pounds of bananas a day. So she would have to go 1 day without eating bananas. Does she have a seizure disease? Why does she need that much potassium? Who weeps for 1 day without bananas? I feel like that's where. Let's see what happens.
Well, the sad truth is, no matter how loudly and how lovely, if that's a word, you say of bananas, it doesn't alter in the least the fact that when I sang that ending for my brothers and the guys in the group, their reaction was best summed up by my brother Steve, who said,
No, Harry, you gotta be kidding me.
What?
You really expect that to end this song? I mean, it's nice, Harry. I mean, the words are potentially harmless. The music is is pleasant. But I think Tom's definitely right. It sucks.
Allegedly, this created a catchphrase or a in the zeitgeist phrase of Harry, it sucks. And I haven't seen a lot of cultural references to that in TV shows or anything like that. I may have to ask Bill tomorrow, Bill Schultz. He seems to know a lot of the retro shows and things like that, but I don't see a lot of references to it. But deep in my heart, I like to believe that, yes, Harry Chapin's 30,000 pounds of bananas influenced the zeitgeist so much that Harry, it sucks, became a running phrase. That said, at this point, if I was doing a project with my family, which is probably why I don't work with any of my siblings on anything we do, I would be like, fine, I've given it 2 shots. You go fuck yourself and do it yourself because I'm out, But that's not the Cherry way, all right? That's not the Harry Chapin way. He's a pacifist. He's a go-getter. And honestly, he's created a beautiful masterpiece up to this point. Would Van Gogh walk away before he finished painting Mona Lisa? Oh, maybe not be a good example. The Sistine Chapel guy, would he? No. Michelangelo would have finished that. And much like Michelangelo, Harry Chapin, let's see what he does.
I was brokenhearted. And once more I went back to my writer's room and decided finally that honesty was the best policy, and I would end the song the way I found out about it in the first place. And that was coming on a Greyhound bus through Scranton, Pennsylvania in 1965. Like this.
Before we get into that story, did Harry decide that honesty was the best policy? Because sure, on the album, this is where he ends the song. However, we've heard two. This is the third ending. This is where most other Chapin podcasts would probably leave you, and this is what separates Choppin from Chapin, pun intended, from the rest of those Chapin podcasts out there. A third alternate ending surfaced later, and apparently Harry Chapin would introduce it with a monologue about Donnie and Marie Osmond, and the technical definition of the word sucks. Now, I have yet to find this introduction. I have heard clips of this ending, but I have not heard him introduce the song. I really hope. We've heard Harry take 3 clear shots so far. We're going to hear him take a 4th one at the end, which just makes me laugh. But I really like to think that the story Harry used and his technical definition of the word sucks between Donnie and Marie Osmond was an incest joke. I don't, again, no facts to back that up. Haven't heard the intro. Just like to create, I don't know, fan fiction in my head that that's what Chapin would do. If you have that intro or if you've heard the full ending and you have a link, send it to me. I'd love to hear it again. But without further ado, actually, we're going to do a little more about that ending. So apparently the third ending is a parody of the Chiquita Banana commercial done in a, quote, Jimmy Buffett style, which I guess just means he got hammered before he did this song. And he makes the whole band sing. And the way they end that one to mix it up from the running Harry It Sucks thing is Big John interrupts by singing the first verse of Taxi, which is normally a 4-minute song, but he does it in the form of an upbeat disco style that concludes with Chapin telling him, John, it sucks. I bet the crowd loses their minds when that happened. And then I guess a 4th ending also surfaced with all 4 endings, and the 4th ending was just a sing-along protest, it looks like, that had nothing to do with the rest of the song they broke out to. I don't technically count that as an ending. I must have misread that when I wrote that down earlier. So if you want to hear that, I don't know. I don't particularly want to hear it, so I'm not going to do any research. But like Harry said, I think honesty is the best policy. Let's see if you do as well as we get into the final verse, the official ending, what made it to the first CD of 30,000 pounds of bananas.
You see, the man that told me about it on the bus says it went up the hill out of Scranton, Pennsylvania. You know, he shrugged his head, he shrugged his shoulders, and said, and this is exactly what he said. He said, boy, boy, it sure must have been something. Just imagine 30,000 pounds of banana. Yes, there were 30,000 pounds of mashed bananas.
I'm not saying the bus driver didn't sound like that, but it certainly didn't seem like it. I've never met a bus driver who sounded like a Muppet. Grover never talked to me when I was getting on, telling me I owed more money. Let's see how he wraps this bad boy up.
A banana, 30,000 pounds of bananas. Not no driving now. All bananas, yeah, bananas.
That does feel like certainly the best ending we heard. I like how it picked up to an ending. I like the piano crash, all the music stopping at once. I question the line, not no driver now, just bananas. I think that's a sad way to wrap up the driver's story, saying he's dead, but we've got bananas. But you know what, that's not a sad way to end up our first episode of Choppin' with Chapin. If you enjoyed it, let me know. Next episode, who knows what we'll cover. I'll probably put out a Twitter poll. But until then, I'll be in my taxi, taking tips and getting stoned. Follow me at Bobby Tamburo on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the whole shebang. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. We got a lot more fun stuff coming. Apparently May is the month of the donkey. Now is the part of the show where we would go through some comments if we had them. But I don't see any. And I don't think people have questions because it's a pretty straightforward Chapin song. Who knows what we'll get into next time. Maybe it'll be the Taxi sequel saga and you can watch me cry. On that note, thanks for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like. Tell 17 friends. Hell, tell 30,000 friends. Why not? Bye.
Hello, honey, it's me. What did you think when you heard me back on the radio? What did the kids say when they knew it was their long-lost daddy-o? Remember how we listened to the radio, and I said that's the place to be. And how I got the job as an FM jock the day you married me. It was 2 kids and I was into AM rock, but I just had to run around. It's been 8 years since I left you, babe. Let me tell you about what's gone down. I am the morning DJ at WOLD.